this video, we're going to show you guys how to find the optimal contact point. And once you're done with that, we also have a video that we're going to reference up here that shows you guys how you can consistently learn to hit the ball in the optimal contact point. And here's why it's important to know where the optimal contact point is. If you know where the optimal contact point is, you know what you're looking for in every single shot, and that means that you're going to hit the ball much cleaner, with less effort and more power. So first of all, we need to find our stance, right? In most cases, it's more of like a semi-closed stance, semi-open stance, where our left foot is pointing kind of towards the right net post, and then the right foot just makes it comfortable for us to keep our balance. So in this stance now, we have to think about two things. The first thing that needs to happen in our contact point is that our racket should be pointing to the side. It should be horizontal in our contact point, right? Obviously, that will change the angle of our wrist and of our hand and arm depending on our grip. Now, in my case, I'm going to show you how to do this with a semi-Western grip, even though I usually use a Western grip. But let's do the semi-Western grip just to make it easier for you guys, because most of you probably use that grip. So now we need our racket to be horizontal, as I mentioned. That's very important. And then we need to figure out how far our arm needs to be from our body. And that depends obviously on what we're used to do when we're hitting. Now, in my case, I would not keep my arm completely straight because that's not how I hit my forehands. Ideally, I would get to that point, but I can't do that yet. I'm not good enough for that. So if we're swinging now, how do we know where we should hit the ball? Should we hit it back here, here, far in the front? That obviously depends on where you're trying to hit it to, right? So for this example, let's just imagine we're trying to hit straight down the line, or in this case, just straight forward because I'm in the middle of the court. So now I need my racket to be somewhere around here, but it could be here, it could be here, it could be here. I could have it even further in front. What's the ideal contact point? That depends on our upper body rotation. So we want a couple of things to be true. We want our upper body in the contact point to be pretty much straight. We don't want it to be twisted yet, because we're twisting it back on our backswing and we're twisting it further than being straight on our swing. So we need to hit the ball right in the middle where we have no tension in our back because our body is not twisted. Now the same thing goes for my arm, right? I could swing my arm further and further, but the more you swing it, or the further you put it in front without, twisting your body any further, the more tension you will feel up here. You don't want that tension yet. If you kept swinging through your contact point, you would build up that tension. So our contact point needs to be where our upper body is straight, and our arm and shoulder here feels like it's not under tension yet. But if I pushed my racket a little bit further, I would feel the tension. So in my ideal contact point would be right here. So you can see here now, if I pushed any further, you would see tightness here, and you would feel that if you do it yourself. So you don't want to hit the ball there. And the reason for that is, if you feel tightness, that means your racket has already started to slow down. So that's not the point where our racket is at its fastest. And in our contact point, we want our racket to be at its fastest in its trajectory to make sure that we have optimal power transfer. Because if our racket already slowed down, well, we could have hit the ball harder with the same amount of effort if we had hit the ball a little bit further back where our racket is at its fastest. Now the same thing goes for upper body rotation, right? If we twist our body further, that tension that you feel in your back, if you twist yourself further, tells you that your racket has already started to slow down. You're past the middle point of your swing. So you're in a position where you shouldn't be hitting the ball anymore, right? Because otherwise you're losing power. So now ideally, you want to make sure that that contact point is right in the middle of your swing. So you do a big backswing, swing towards the contact point, make contact, and then this follow through is just as long, or is just as far, the ending of a follow through is just as far away from the contact point as the starting point of your backswing is from the contact point as well. Now, if you understand those things, it makes it much simpler for you to actually look for that ideal contact point while you're playing, and you'll find an idea of how you can correct this because you feel the tightness before or after the contact point, and thus you can adjust if you have to hit the ball a bit further in front, a bit more next to you, a little bit sooner or a bit later.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.